Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. Cardano, I think, has surprised us all in the last few days. Not that, I didn't think it could really start to move, because we obviously talked about that Cardano has completed the minimum requirements for the correction and it could at any point start to move up, but that it would do so with such a pace, and that it would also leave behind some other crypto projects. This was a bit of a surprise, especially as it moved up since the low pretty much 60%. So that is quite significant. Is this already the low? Are we already back in the bull run? It's too early, very clearly. It's too early to say that. There are a few things that make me skeptical about that. Yeah, very clearly. Even though, of course, I like to see the price go up. It's nice to see that Cardano is still alive, absolutely. But there are a few things here that make me just also skeptical, and where I think, we need a correction now anyway. We need to come down after a 60% increase in a few days. We need some sort of a correction anyway, and that will come. We also see now here on the daily chart that we have a wick on the upside. So that means we were rejected here clearly at around the $118, $119 level. If I'm not mistaken, could be wrong, but the VPVR, didn't that show us? Yeah, it showed us a peak around this area starting at 120. So you can see that here, and that is also probably a reason why we're getting, why we're finding here some rejection. But what I really wanted to communicate in this video is that yes, it is positive to see, and I'll go to the 4-hour chart. It's positive to see that Cardano is starting to move up very, very strongly actually, and Cardano is above this ascending trend line. Yeah, it broke out of the descending wedge. We talked about all these things. It moved through the green resistance zone, a very important zone, and I can actually now take away that one here from the chart. But that current move up does have very, very little structure. There has hardly been any retracement. I hoped for retracement earlier. Would have loved to see a retest of the $1.01 resistance level there, or now support. Yeah, you can see that here. After we broke out of this accumulation structure here, I would have loved to see, just a retest, which would have allowed Cardano to bring the indicators down a little bit as well, and to support some further upside. Now, obviously, it is at a state or in a situation where also here on the daily, Cardano is getting overbought. Okay, I mean the MACD on the daily further pushing further higher, which is good. Yeah, it is not decreasing buying momentum, but you can see on the RSI how we are moving higher. And that is again what I said earlier today. We are at the highest point on the daily RSI since now end of August, and that is significant. Okay, that is great because we are higher on the RSI than any of these fake outs here that occurred in the correction. And I think that is a sign that something is changing, that things are getting different. We had that long signal on the ADX indicator here, ADX and DI. All of that is good, but we are overbought, yeah, and we have only very little structure in here. So it comes to me still as very corrective, yeah. And that might confuse people because it is a very strong move up, but we are not having the structure where we could build on. That could still come. Yeah, that could still come. But it, for me, still looks very much three-wave-like and very corrective what is happening here. Therefore, the risk that we are coming down once more is certainly not over. Absolutely not. Yeah, I have to say that. So don't get too hyped about this. But I mean, it's a good sign. It's a first good sign, absolutely. But it's just too early to confirm that we're back in an uptrend. And until that's the case, the view has to be that we are coming down once more. So in no video so far, I have talked about that my primary expectation changes. My primary expectation would still be that we come down lower once more. The correction hasn't have no sign yet, but that is why my strategy was to dollar cost average in this region, so that at any point because the correction could have been finished, we talked about the clear levels that need to be fulfilled. We made a lower low, we made that ABC correction, that's all finished. So the question is now, at what point do we see a first impulsive move to the upside? This is not yet an impulsive move. We need a larger 5-wave structure. And what would be really important and really good to see would be a break above that 163 level. That is really crucial. That is that wave 4 high. And that is really, really important also to confirm a further uptrend. Yes, of course, there's still a long way to go until 163. But to be honest, Cardano could make that in a few days. Yeah, and we know when Cardano really gets going, it can move very fast. But there will be a correction soon. Yeah, there will be. And if it's just a small retracement, yeah, anybody who missed buying lower can of course go in then. I still think a $1.16 Cardano is still a good price, yeah, from my point of view. But obviously the higher we go now, the higher the downward potential goes still, because at no point I can see here a 5-wave structure yet. At what point do I really start to say, right, the low is in? That would be very clearly, I can tell you that. And until then, my primary expectation remains that the downtrend is not over. What I want to see is here a first 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and then an A, B, C. And at this point then, I will tell you that the correction is over. That means we want to see a first move up where people start to FOMO in, and then, and again, that is never guaranteed that you get that correction again, but it's usually happening. Yeah, it's with a high likelihood happening that you then get, when you have your first wave up, that first 5-wave structure, that you get a second wave that will come down once more, maybe again to the 78.6% fib level or the 88.7%. And if you then make a higher low, and then we can be more confident, and actually very confident, that the low was in, and then we can say that with much confidence, and that would then also be another entry point. Okay, absolutely. So typically get that low once more. Yeah, and that is here currently my view on Cardano, starting to look really good, but I think we are close now to a correction. We're now just getting overbought on the daily time frame. You are also getting close to being overbought on the 2-day chart. There's still some scope. Yeah. The last time we were overbought on the 2-day chart, that was when we moved to new all-time highs. So we're far away from that. But that means, we're only here, and there's a risk that you already get overbought on the 2-day chart. So there is much more work that Cardano needs to do. And don't be scared. It's not that in one day Cardano goes to new all-time highs. It can pump, but it can't pump that much. So there is still time, and I will make you aware as soon as I believe very strongly that the low is already in. But we have to say that what is coming up here is very strong. Yeah, on the 4-day chart, we haven't seen such a green candle in an uptrend or a beginning uptrend really since we started to move to new all-time highs. Yeah, so that is really, really powerful. And not without reason, I talked about in the last few videos that the low could already be in. Of course, we don't know until we have that first 5-wave structure up and the first ABC down, but we had clear signals as well that price increases are now possible, even if it's only short term, because this increase, what we're doing here, is not necessarily yet a sustainable uptrend that will take us to new all-time highs. Yeah, not necessarily. My primary expectation, as I said, still has to be objectively that we come down once more, and this could just be a short-term uptrend. But we see good signs, and you never know, and that is just the world in which we live, and that is how financial markets work. We can only, as I always say, approach this with logic and reason, and based on target levels and so on. And as I said before, Cardano has fulfilled the minimum requirements to complete that correction, and we can now wait for higher prices. Now, that's my view on Cardano. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.